Okay. Well, I'm starting a minute early, everybody. I'm just trying to check and see if it's working correctly. Hey, everybody. So welcome to Leader Tips Live. It's your boy Lee, and I'm super excited that you are here with me. On Instagram, you can actually put your questions in. You can use the tab and comment, share, talk, do all those different things. Tell me what you want for me to talk about tonight on Leader Tips Live. I'm taking every question that you might have concerning leadership, concerning life, concerning purpose, all those different things. I'm going to be talking about all this stuff tonight, and I would love to hear from you. If you just put your comments in the comment box, just let me know, and I'll try to answer every question that you possibly might throw at me. I know right now there's a lot of stuff going on with a lot of people with the coronavirus and everything that's going on. I think a lot of people are dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety. But I do believe that if we just take some time to talk about issues and talk about the things that we can improve in and invest in ourselves with, we can really, really make a difference in the world. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming in. I'm just going to wait a few minutes and then we can get started. And like I said, you can comment in the comment box below and ask questions, because this is Leader Tips. I'm here to answer questions about life, about leadership, about me, about whatever I'm doing. I want you to share. I want you to get in the comments, share about what you want to learn, what you want to know about what's going on with me, and what's happening in my space and in my world. So I'm super excited to talk to you guys tonight. I see everybody on here. It's going to be really, really awesome and really cool. So just comment in the comment section, and I will respond to all of your questions tonight. I'll be responding as many questions as I can as it relates to life and leadership. For some of you who may not know this, I actually have a degree in leadership. My undergrad is actually in leadership. I got it from Oral Roberts University. And so I have a Bachelor's of Science in leadership. So I wouldn't say that I'm an expert, but I have some expertise concerning leadership and this particular subject. So if you have some questions, just put it in the comments box and let me know what you want to talk about or ask me about as it relates to leadership. I think, as I've always said, I believe that every single person is a leader. And I believe that every person has a capacity and level of leadership. One thing that we all can benefit from is recognizing the ability that we have within ourselves. And I think the most important thing for us is us to understand the value that we can bring to any situation. And so I'm going to take any question you have. You can ask me as many things as you would like to ask me concerning leadership and concerning just life and what's going on. So put your comments in the comment space. I'll see your comments and then I'll respond to them accordingly. And I hope that you have some stuff to ask tonight. Some of us have had all day to kind of prepare and think about what we're going to ask and what we're going to talk about concerning this subject of leadership. Like I said, leadership is a thing that I believe every single person has. Everybody has a capacity for it, and everyone can move through leadership. So if you have questions, come on, put it in the comment section. I'll respond as quickly as I can. I see a lot of family and friends on here. Just give me your comments, and I'll be happy to share. Oh, one thing that I need to mention, if you have not done it, some of you may not know this, but I have a vlog and podcast. It's called Leading with Lee. If you have not done it yet, go on YouTube and subscribe to the podcast and vlog. Tomorrow, an episode is dropping. I'll be talking about leading in crisis. And one of the things that we're seeing in our world right now is a lot of people are trying to figure out how to make decisions about what's happening right now in our world. And so I think it's important for us to have a discussion about this particular subject, because we're seeing a lot of mishaps and things happen because people don't know how to respond. So I see the first question. The first question is, can you talk about how, as a leader, one might have to carry all the weight of a situation? And I don't see the rest of the question, but I'll try to answer that question. So thank you for your question, Brian. Talk about how leaders might carry a lot of weight in the situation. So one of the things I think about concerning leadership is when you are dealing with a lot of stuff with people, it is important for you to recognize your capacity to lead. I think one of the most important things for us is to realize that it is not the job of the leader to carry all the weight. It's the job of the leader to delegate responsibility to the people that they're leading. And so we fail to delegate, we will cause ourselves much hurt and harm in the process when it comes down to this particular subject, because the reality is you can't do it all by yourself. In one of the episodes of Leading with Lee that I did concerning last year, I actually talked about this particular subject concerning responsibility and carrying weight. One of the things I talked about was team, and how important it is to recognize the small things that you may be doing, and things you might struggle with, and the things you are trying to understand and figure out. It's important for you as a leader to understand that I gotta find the people that are around me and that can actually benefit from me empowering them. And I think that that's something super important for us as leaders. No matter what your job is, no matter what thing you're doing with your life, you have to figure out how to empower people and give them opportunities to step into the plate to make a significant difference in the world. And I think that that's something that you and I all of us can benefit from, and we can take on. I see another question. The question is, what are your tips for a person transitioning from a position of leadership into one where they're not? In this job transition, use a job transition, for example. Oh, wow, that's a great question. I think people always think, well, I'm going to have this role forever, and I'm going to be doing this forever. So therefore, I should only operate at the space where I'm at. Well, sometimes that does change. I think you can be removed or change. I think one of the things about leadership is not always about position. I think one of the biggest lies that we've been taught is that leadership is positional, but leadership is actually influence. John Maxwell says that leadership is influence, and your ability to influence people and cause them to move a certain way is how you impact their lives and how you cause them to do things differently in their space and in the way that they can be better and productive in their own lives. And I think one of the things that we can benefit from is recognizing that when it comes down to the subject of leadership, it is not about you being in a position. It's about you understanding how to help. And the thing for a person who has transitioned out of position, the best thing you can do for that leader is support them and be behind them as they are leading in that position. Because the reality is, they may not believe that they can do it. But it's better for that person that you show support and stand behind them and encourage them and give some advice, mentorship. It's always encouraging for a leader who is in a position this is new to them and they've never done it before. When you actually show support for them, they may actually become the person they need to become, because they recognize, okay, there's somebody that's behind me and that somebody is believing in what I'm doing. And so I think it's important for you and I to understand this particular subject as it relates to position and how we can help people be better, because it's so important for you to show support to people. I mean, everybody doesn't inherently have the skill set to do really great in certain things, but when they feel like they're supported and they feel like they're believed in, they will rise to the occasion. Okay, I see another question. It says, and how does responsibility feel about it, about their position, or how should they feel about what they're doing if they're given the responsibility? If you're given the responsibility of something, you have the capacity for it. You have the capacity for it. I think a lot of people think capacity is just, well, I've been here 30 years, therefore I should get the position. Actually, no. Capacity is often determined by a person's ability to handle what they're doing. It doesn't matter how long you've been a place. Some people just have greater capacity for certain things just because that's the way they're wired and that's the way they have been developed and grown. And so you and I can be in a certain space simply by our skill set, our aptitude, our understanding, our wealth of experience that has nothing to do with the position or job. It could literally just be what we're supposed to do. And here's the other thing. It could be a God-given talent and gift that you're in the space that you're in. It could have nothing to do with whether or not you are the most brilliant, the most experienced, the most seasoned person. That has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with the fact that you have figured out that people recognize that you are the person that could actually do something that's significant. I see another question. It says, what tips do you have for someone who doesn't have the right traits or characteristics to be an effective leader? Here's what's interesting. We associate certain things within society and culture with leadership. We think if a person is loud, they're a leader. We think if a person is bombastic or they're very, very charismatic, they're very, very boisterous, they tend to dominate. We think that makes them a leader. And to be honest, that doesn't. Leadership looks different in every single person. For me, by personality, I'm not a dominant personality. I'm very reserved. I'm very, very observant. I'm very, very, very aware of situations. So what leadership looks coming from me does not look like how we have seen in culture and society through television, through media, through all these different things. That's not necessarily leadership. What that is volume. Volume. That's someone being loud. We're being dictated by volume. And the reality is that's not necessarily leadership. So what we can learn, what the tip I have for you is that recognize that your skills are right for you. And you have to lead through your skills, through your talents, through your abilities, through your capability, because there's an area where you are an expert in that everybody's not an expert in. And you have the ability to influence and cause people to move a certain way because you recognize the value that you bring to a situation. I don't have the capacity to write a book. I just don't. Not yet anyways. But there are people that I know who have the skill set to write a book very quickly because that's the right traits. They have the right characteristics. So therefore that makes them effective in that area. Because effectiveness is not a one-size-fits-all situation. Just because someone is effective in business doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be effective at nursing or teaching or all these different things. Like that has nothing to do with their ability to lead. It really doesn't. And so I think what's important for us is to recognize and see that leadership is not something that is so one size fits all. It is very much so. It looks different on every person. It's expressed different in every person. It's going to function different in every person. Because here's the other reality. All people are not the same. All people have different experiences. All people have different exposures. Our lives are different. So therefore, how we express leadership is going to look different in every person. And so you have to be okay with that. You have to be able to navigate that and understand how to express your leadership and deal with different things. Like I said, once again, if you have questions, please put it in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks you everyone for coming and listening and sharing with me this time, these 40 or 50 minutes, just to talk about leadership and talk about how important leadership is right now. Our world is in a crisis for leadership. The world is looking for people who have answers. Right now, you're sitting at home. You're listening to me talk about this. All of us are looking for answers, whether it be at our jobs, whether it be in our careers, whether it be if we need to move from one city to another, if we need to apply for another job. No matter where you are, all of us can benefit from effective leadership and understanding our own capacity for leadership. Because as I said, and I will continue to say, everyone has a capacity for leadership. Every single person. You have a capacity in you. You may have not been told that you are capable. You may not have been told that you can do certain things, but you have the capacity for leadership. You have the ability to make a difference in the world and cause people to come into a better understanding of themselves and their understanding of their value and understanding of what they can accomplish in our world today. This is something that all of us can benefit from when we recognize that we have a capacity for leadership. Right now, there's a lot of people even on here right now. One of the things I really want to encourage you to do as you're sitting at home, as you might be, furloughed and may not be able to do your job right now, this is the best time to discover your own personal leadership. This is a great time. Some of us for years have been wondering, man, I feel like my job has hindered me from spending time with myself and doing some of the things that I want to do. Right now is the best time. You don't have your boss on your head and bothering you about all the different things. You have time to start investing in yourself. One of the things that I believe that every person can do very quickly, we have so much information. You can go online right now and find and take a class for certain things. You can go online right now and take an assessment or whatever about a certain topic. You can literally do that right now. And the great thing about that is you get an opportunity to invest in yourself in a way that other people may not invest in you. Other people may not have the time, to invest in you that way. But when you do it for yourself, it is a great thing. It's a great thing. It's a phenomenal thing. And so my encouragement for you is right now on your downtime, man, like look up classes. There are tons. There are thousands upon thousands of YouTube videos. There's thousands of seminars and different things like that. Speaking of seminars, my friends and I are doing one in a few about 4 or 5 weeks from now. It's called the Live with Intention Challenge. We're doing a challenge in a few weeks from now, but we are doing a summit called the Align Summit, which is going to be a phenomenal event. Myself, this awesome woman, she's an entrepreneur, business owner. She is a book publisher, a writer, phenomenal friend of mine. Her name is Megan Pinkney. I definitely would advise some of you to literally sign up. Like you can go on my page right now. I have one of the posts I did last week. It has the link on there for the Live with Intention. It's livewithintentchallenge.com. So if you go in there, you can actually register for the challenge. Like it was a great way for you and I to invest in ourselves. Like Megan's going to be on there. And then another great friend of mine, his name is Ramon Walker. Phenomenal, encouraging, amazing guy. Amazing dude. So we're doing this conference together and we're going to be involved with this conference. And these people are people that really, really care about investing in people. And I think one of the things that we can do for ourselves is self-investment is the best investment you can make. Because it makes you better. It makes you, expands your capacity. It helps you be the person that you could be or should be. And I think one of the things that we all can benefit from is self-investment. I think what I realized even in my own life, when it comes down to my own personal leadership, some of the investments that I made when I was a teenager actually prepare me for what I'm doing right now. Literally, when I was a kid, I was in speech and debate. Literally, I was doing these things because I believed that self-investment was worth my time. And so, literally, right now, you have the greatest time to do it. Because, see, here's the thing. When it's all over, the question you need to answer for yourself is, how did I spend this time investing in me? That's the question you have to answer. You have to answer, did I use my time wisely and invest in myself? Did I take the time out to invest in me, invest in what I'm doing, give myself time to learn, give myself time to grow? Did I actually read a book? Did I actually talk to some people that I know? Did I actually do some things that was valuable for me? One of the things you can do for yourself is increase your value. The more you know, the more valuable you are. Literally right now, so I work for a credit union, and there's some information right now that I did not know a year ago that makes me more valuable to any company. I know about loans. I know about interest on loans. I know about home equity. I know about different accounts that people can get when they get a loan with a credit union. I know these things, so therefore I become more valuable to someone when they're asking me, hey, leader, what are your services? What do you do? What can I get from you? What can I gain from this relationship with you? You become valuable when you actually invest into yourself and actually give people the opportunity to reap the benefits of what you've learned. And so right now, really, all of us have an opportunity to learn. Like I said, the Lead with Intention Challenge is about to start literally on April 19th. If you want to do anything for investment, get in the challenge. It's going to be amazing. I am so excited to hear from Megan. I'm so excited to hear from Ramon. Like, they're going to come with so much information and a wealth of knowledge. These two people have lived their lives in such a way where they have been investing in people for years. Like, it is so important that you and I do that as it relates to our own personal growth. You have to invest. This is the best time to invest. This is the best opportunity for you and I to invest in ourselves. And look. It's not going to hurt to actually take time to do some stuff that you haven't done. Like, it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt you to go and say, hey, I'm going to put this money towards an investment that's going to be pivotal to my life. Because one of the things that you can do is literally invest in things that are going to affect your life. I've done it. Like right now, I'm in grad school. I'm in grad school right now, not because I just want another degree, but I'm in grad school now because I want to invest into my own personal life so I can be a more effective teacher when it comes down to leadership. Right now, I'm getting my master's in leadership, and so I'm realizing, like, in class, I'm learning so much more about this subject that I've been interested in for some years. And now I have the capacity to really, really, really be more effective because now I know more. And the more I read, and the more I research, and the more I have conversations, the more I engage with people, it helps me be more effective when it comes down to this issue. And all of us can benefit from self-investment when it comes down to this particular issue. You really need to do something that is beneficial to you. I know people are resting a lot right now. People are taking some time to spend with their families. People are taking some time to spend with God. Like, people are taking some time to actually do some things that they felt like they were out of whack. Like, get your house in order. Like, if you haven't been to the gym in a while, like, get a home workout plan. Like, this is the best time to rearrange and readjust your life, which would be a good thing. That's great and fantastic. But realize that in that process, the best thing you can do for yourself is continue to invest. The investment is well worth it. The investment is necessary for your own personal growth. And when you decide to do things that are necessary for yourself, you can actually potentially move yourself in the right direction as it relates to this issue. Because see, let's be real, man. Like, no one is going to change your life. You have to make a decision. You have to consciously make a decision that I'm going to invest in me. I'm going to spend time reading. I'm going to spend time writing. I'm going to spend time looking for resources. I'm going to spend time in the gym. I'm going to spend time working out at home now since I can't go to the gym. So let me finesse this. The apartments I live in have a basketball court. Okay, cool. I need to go to the basketball court and hoop because I need to ensure that I'm taking care of myself. And every single one of us have an opportunity to actually do that. Do those things that actually move you in the right direction. I've been saying that the whole time I've been on here. This is a crucial and amazing moment to be in. Like, we get an opportunity, man, to really, really invest and really take care of ourselves in a way that we have not done it. And so, like, if you want to be a part of what we're doing, like, go to alignsummit.com. You can get involved that way, or actually go to Live with Intention Challenge. Register for the challenge. But if you really want to go really hard with us, like, sign up for the actual summit. It's going to be 3 days. It's May 7th through 9th. It's going to be awesome. Once again, for those of you who just came on, if you want to ask me any questions concerning your leadership of life, please put it in the comments. I will answer every question you might have. Just like share your questions. There's a question box here on Instagram and also in the comments here on Facebook. Please share your comments and share your questions with me, because this is Leader Tips Live. And so therefore, I'm going to answer whatever question you throw in there. Please don't make these questions crazy. Please don't scare me. But definitely you can ask me any question, and I will be quick to answer them, and I'll be quick to share about concerning those things and concerning what's going on with me. As I said earlier, this is a great opportunity for us to connect and us to have conversations about things that's happening right now in our world and in our culture, and we can really, really make a significant investment in ourselves and actually do some great things. Oh, one other thing, I'm thinking about doing this a little bit more. I haven't been doing a lot of them, but I am thinking a lot about doing Leader Tips Live probably more frequently, and bringing on guests who people I really admire, people that I like, think are super and great at what they do, and having those conversations with them, particularly on Instagram Live, but figuring out how to do it on Facebook, but definitely on there, just sharing with them and having conversations with them concerning the subject of leadership, because like I said, leadership is not a linear thing. It is not a one size fits all. It looks very different in every single person. It looks very different coming from every single person, and all of us have a capacity for leadership. It does not look the same. Your life is not mine. So how leadership looks coming through me is going to look very different from you, because you have a unique experience and you have a unique life. Once again, put your questions in the comments section. I'll be happy to answer your questions. I'm super excited that you are on here and I'm sharing with you about leadership. So if you have some questions, put in the comments. Put in the comments. Put in the comments. Put in the comments. I want to hear your questions. Your questions, your questions, your questions, your questions, your questions, your questions. As I said earlier, I am doing some things right now that have been very, very life-giving, especially with the vlog and podcast. Like, it has been very life-giving. I'm going to share tomorrow about leading in crisis. Like I said earlier, I think that's something important for us to actually have conversations about. All of us can rise to the occasion right now. This is the greatest opportunity for you to do what you need to do. Hello, Sammy. I'm doing really well, as you probably can see right now. So I am super excited for you to be here and talking with me. So continue to put comments in the comment section. Please ask me any question concerning life and leadership. I'm probably going to be on here another 10 or 15 minutes, but I'll be happy to answer any question you might have and get done. Okay, someone has a question concerning this. It said, I was in the middle of a clinical and okay, let me see. Right. Okay. So the question is about feeling disconnected. You know, I think one of the things that we can take control of is our ability to engage with people. I, by nature, contrary to what some people believe, I, by nature, am somewhat introverted, and I tend to go inward when it comes down to things. I tend to internalize a lot of stuff, and so it's important for me to ruminate. It's important for me to, chill and think and process and deal with the things I need to deal with. But the best way I've been learning to use my time, number one, is self-care. I think one of the biggest issues that a lot of us have is we're not taking care of ourselves the way we should. Right now, you have the best time to take care of yourself. Like I said, some of us are out of school. Some of us are not working right now. And my prayer is that God will give people wisdom on how to deal with all the stuff that's going on as it relates to this subject. I see like 2 questions. I'm about to answer those questions. But one of the ways you can use your time wisely during this time, like I said, reading, watching things on YouTube, actually taking some time to reach out to people you haven't got an opportunity to reach out to and talk to and engage with. These are ways that you actually can invest in yourself to become better and wiser at this particular time, and actually read some of the material that you might need for school. So like, those are big ways that you can invest in yourself. So this is another question. Somebody asked me, do you have any ideas on what types of investments to make? In what sense? Because I know a lot about investments. Investments is a very, very interesting thing. I think personal investment, an idea for personal investment is definitely doing some research about the subject that you, or about the career or subject that you're very interested in. One of the things that I've gotten better at, and when it comes to the subject of leadership, I've worked really hard at trying to learn as much as I can about people that do this for a living. So, like I said, I'm in grad school. The best self-investment I ever made was changing my degree in college to realize that this was something that I was very interested in, and this is a subject that I kind of gravitated towards. So therefore, because I gravitated towards that subject, I started making decisions that benefited me in that way. One idea would be, like I said, finding literature about that particular subject, finding literature concerning that particular issue or area. Like I say, YouTube has thousands of videos, thousands upon thousands of videos about subjects just in general. It's a lot of stuff. And yes, yeah, honestly, you really don't have to have money to get started. When I started leading with Lee, I didn't have no money. I just had an idea and passion and drive. I really don't make money from leading with Lee yet, but I've been determined to invest, because the investment now paves the way for everything else later. One day, I do believe I get paid to talk about leadership, but I'm willing to make the sacrifices now where I'm not making money to do and invest in the way that I need to invest. And so that's a way that you can actually make that investment. Like, I mean, that's a great question. That's the way we can invest in ourselves. And like, information is an investment. Mentorship is investment, whether it's in person or by watching an individual. Like, you can follow people on social media who have expertise in a certain way, in a certain space that you might gravitate towards. And so I think that's an important thing. The next question, I would like to know, who's your leadership mentor? I have several. One of my favorite people in the world, he's no longer alive, is Dr. Miles Monroe. Literally about 7 or 8 years ago, when I was, actually not that long ago, but more like 5 or 6 years ago, when I was in college, I kind of stumbled upon him. Like, didn't know who he was, did not like have a plan, but just like stumbled upon him. And he was articulating leadership in a way that I had never seen anybody articulate leadership. And especially because he was talking about government and politics and different stuff like that. And I'm very interested in those things. And so he was articulating leadership in that perspective. And it just stuck me. I'm like, okay, this man is like, this dude is, okay, he coming with that fire. You know what I mean? He's like brilliant. And so one of the things that it definitely influenced me, it definitely influenced me early on as it pertains to leadership. John Maxwell is a phenomenal leadership teacher. I think one of the best in the game. One of my favorites is Dr. Eric Thomas. He's very, very, very like gritty, very, very like aggressive when he talks about leadership. And so he's someone who has influenced me as far as leadership mentor. One of my leadership mentors right now, his name is Keith Storm. I love this guy. I literally have a conversation with him every Wednesday morning at 8:30, and we talk about life and we talk about what's going on with me. He has been a significant influence on my life over the past year, about a year that I've gotten an opportunity to know him and have a relationship with him. He has definitely mentored me in a lot of ways. My pastor, in a lot of ways, has mentored me through leadership by not what he says, but what he does. My pastor, Michael Todd, like, he has definitely been someone who has said something and done it and meant what he said. Like, that has been something that has impacted me significantly. Another person who has I see kind of as a leadership mentor in a way is my dad. Like, early in my life, my dad was very much so a person who led by what he did. And so I think it's important for us to recognize that leadership is always around us. We have to make a decision to engage and really absorb the information that we need to absorb from those type of people that are around us. These are people that have influenced me in a significant way and have caused me to grow and be the person that I need to become and the person I need to be. Now, I am not all the way there. I will never all the way be there, but I definitely am a beneficiary of people's investment in their lives, so therefore I was able to reap the benefit of them investing in themselves at one point in their lives. Like right now, this is an investment for my own life. Just like you can do in your own personal life, is invest in yourself so that you can do. I think that's been the subject and the thought process throughout this whole conversation we've been having tonight. It's about self-investment. This is the perfect time to invest. This is a perfect time to invest. Literally, I was reading the other day about how interest rates on certain home loans right now is low as they've ever been. Like literally, home loans are super low because of what's happening with the economy. Home loans are super low. Like, if you think about that as it pertains to your life, you could actually get a lot of equity. Because, prime example, and I wouldn't plan to talk about home loans, but literally, if you buy property, you are creating equity in your life. Property ownership. Now, listen, this is not what the conversation is about, but I feel like I need to say this. The quicker you own a piece of land or owning property actually can be used as equity towards what you're trying to build. You have to do that. You are creating, yes, David, you are creating generational wealth. That is something that people need to understand and people need to get in their minds. Look, it does not have to be some 40 acres of land. Literally a small investment. Let's say you buy shares, you go into a pool with some people to buy like a particular small, like an acre of land. That equity is huge for you. Like, people are able to get loans and people are able to get access to certain types of capital because they have equity somewhere. And one thing that you and I can benefit from is thinking in those terms. Thinking about how can I invest in a way that actually benefits my life in a significant way. As it relates to land, you can do that with yourself. I think, like I said, that's been the talk of all night. It's about self-investment. One person asked about investing in yourself. That is so important for you. It is extremely important for you to invest in yourself. I mean, as much as I talk about leadership, I'm listening to people talk about leadership all the time. All the time. I'm not just talking to you about something that I'm not listening to or reading about. Like, literally behind me, there's books. Like, there's books sitting behind me of people that have lived different lives, have a wealth of experience that I don't have, and they're sharing about issues and sharing about topics that I don't know about. And I literally have benefited from them knowing what they're doing. Them knowing that whatever they're sharing and whatever they're talking about is going to cause people to see themselves in a way they've never seen themselves before. And you and I can do that every single day when we decide to self-invest. Please invest in yourself. Because nobody else is going to do it, really. I mean, you can ask people to mentor you. But sometimes mentorship is not going to look like something conventional. It's just not. Like, a lot of us in our lives, we don't have time to, or even have the access to get access to certain people that we admire. But you can literally watch their Insta stories. You can watch their YouTube videos. You can follow them on social media. You can see what they're doing. I'm not saying copy them, but you can use them as a model. You can figure out how they're doing something and actually learn yourself, get connected with yourself, figure out who you are, and then express yourself through the things you've learned from that person. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You really don't. All you need is to understand what value that person brings to their space, what value that person brings to what they do, and actually take that and use it.
Honestly, it's not a hard thing. It literally is not a hard thing. I sat there and watched Miles Monroe for years. I watched his videos. Never met him. Didn't even know he was an alum of my own university until I went there and he passed away. Didn't even know. But his influence on me actually gave me perspective about what I'm doing right now. Actually gave me perspective about what I can do and what value I could bring to what I'm trying to build. And you and I can be beneficiaries of that value when we understand what it is that we want to do in the world. This is the perfect time to invest. And the funny thing right now, somebody who is investing into me so significantly just came on the live right now. Literally. Like I said, our conversations, every Wednesday I have a conversation with Mr. Keith, and that conversation is an investment into me. He does not have to take time out of his day. He literally doesn't. But he's made a commitment to having that conversation. There are people that I admire that I can't have a conversation with, but I can definitely watch their stories on Instagram. I can definitely listen to their podcasts. I can definitely follow them on Facebook, and I can definitely read articles that they've written. I can definitely read their books. Here's the thing. Don't become them. Use them as a model. Use them as a model. You don't get lost in their sauce. You have your own. You have your own sauce. Make your own sauce. Make your own juice. Do you. Be the person that you are created to be. The God-given created thing that you are. You have to be that person. So it's important for you to understand that you have to function that way. You cannot waste your life and waste your time not being who you're supposed to be. So, the reason why I'm getting so hyped is this is what leadership is, man. This is what leadership is, guys and girls. It is about you figuring out who you are and just being that person. That's how leadership is impacted. That's how people are transformed and changed when you learn to be yourself. It is interesting to me that literally people that are quote unquote leading in certain industries, all they're doing is being themselves, and everybody wants to be like them. This literally, the reason why Kylie Jenner is a billionaire is because Kylie, to some degree, well, she's being a sister, but to some degree, she's being herself, and therefore other women want to be her. Low key, all of you dress the same. This is not a criticism, but all of you dress the same. And you were influenced by somebody who had a thought in their head and said, this is what I want to wear. And therefore, everybody started wearing what they were wearing. It's not rocket science. You can do that. Whatever space you're in, you can literally do that. You can literally cause people to make decisions that they may or may not have really thought through, but because you are an influencer and you're being who you need to be, you might cause them to do something they never thought they could do, and actually push them in a space that they're just like, oh, well, I didn't know that. This is something that I'm just doing. You can do that. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. You can do that. This is not for the select few. It's really not. And people will lie to you and tell you that that's what it is. No, it is not. It is not for the select few. But here's the thing. The reason why some people are successful and can do it is because they were willing to keep pushing. Because it's not easy. Talking about these things, doing these things are not easy. None of this stuff is easy. You are capable of doing it, but it's not easy. I'm going to be honest with you, it's not easy. It's not easy just doing this. It's not easy to be in purpose. It requires a lot of you, but it is worth it, and you have the capacity to do it. Because no one's going to do it like you. No one's going to talk about what you talk about the same way you talk about it. Then what you might get from a video about leadership may be something completely different from me. We might get two different stories out of the same conversation. One of my best friends says this all the time to me. Two people can be in a conversation and two people can get two different results or two different perspectives about that same conversation. Literally. It happens all the time. Those of you who are in relationships, it happens all the time. You walked away thinking one thing and the person you were having a conversation with was thinking about something completely different. They did not get the same thing in that conversation. They didn't. But the fact is, you and I can literally get what we need. You can get what you need. We may not get the same thing, but you got what you needed. And that's what matters. What matters is you getting what you needed. You getting what you came for. You getting what you desired in that conversation. You getting what you are trying to accomplish. You getting that. That's what matters. That's what matters. I'm going to take one or two more questions. So if you haven't done it yet, put your questions in the comment section. I will answer any question you might have. I'm about to wrap it up in a few minutes. But if you have any question concerning leadership, concerning life, concerning what's going on with me, what I'm working on, what I'm involved in, as I said before, if you have not done it yet, go subscribe on YouTube. It is Leading with Lee. Right now, I'm about to drop an episode tomorrow. I'm talking about leading in crisis. I think it is so pertinent to the moment. It is so important for us to have perspective about what's happening literally right now. Because the next decision you make can be the most significant decision you make in your life. But if you don't have tools to make the right decision, you can be hasty and jump into something and not actually cause benefit to happen in your life because you weren't willing to take some time to say, okay, how do I do this the right way? How do I adjust? How do I move in the right direction? It's important, man. It's important for all of us to do that. So if you have some questions, put those in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any question you have. Be happy to answer any question you have concerning life, concerning leadership, concerning the kid. Like I said, subscribe on Instagram. Not Instagram, but on YouTube to Leading with Lee. Also, I do have a podcast. There's a podcast version of Leading with Lee. So if you don't have time to sit there and watch the video, go on Apple Podcasts. You can go Leading with Lee, and you can find the first two episodes of the podcast. It's halves of the first Leading with Lee seminar that I did last spring. I did it on February 9th, 2019. That was the first time I had ever done a leadership seminar, but it's been something that I've been thinking about and planning to do for a while. But I invested for some weeks and some months and some time before that. Before I even did the first Leading with Lee, I was reading. Before I even did the first Leading with Lee, I was literally doing everything I needed to do to prepare for that Leading with Lee. I was reading, I was listening, I was observing, I was studying, I was still in school trying to, get some things done. I was investing in me. So therefore, I had the capacity to actually be the person to talk about the issue when it came time to talk about it. I was spending time with people. I was sitting in conversations. These are the things that prepares you to be ready when the moment is. No, it's not on Spotify yet. But I'm about to come to Spotify. I've been thinking about it. I actually am thinking about putting it on Spotify really soon. I think there's an opportunity for me to do it on there. So, yeah, I'm looking at Spotify. It's probably I can't give you a set date, but I am looking at putting it on Spotify. If you have any other questions, please put it in the comment section. Like I said, I'll take one or two more questions, and I'm gonna be out of here. I'm gonna wrap this thing up and tie with a bow. So yeah, I am thinking about coming to Spotify. It's something that's been on my mind. and giving people more opportunities to access the vlog and podcasts. And so I know a lot of people listen to podcasts in their car. I do. I listen to podcasts literally every single day. On my drive to work, when I'm at the house just trying to absorb some information, I'm listening to stuff. I'm absorbing. And I think that's important for all of us to do, is absorb, because someone commented, you can create generational wealth. Yeah, we want that in a natural sense, but you want to create generational wealth here. If you get wealth here, you can lose all your stuff, man. You can lose all your things that you have in your life and still be able to get it back, because all the wealth is right here. You know, the Negro College Fund, their slogan is, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. That is such a profound statement, because the more you invest right here, the more dangerous you are to society and culture in general. Okay, there's one more question. Is there such a thing as leading out of order? That's a good question. I think, and I could be very wrong, I think, I'm wondering, are you speaking specifically to positional leadership? I think one of the things that I'm a primary advocate for is that leadership is not positional. It is a mindset. It's the way you think about a situation. It's the way you perceive situations. So leadership is not just, this person's in a position. That has nothing to do with it, I don't think. So is there such a thing as leading out of order? Honestly, I don't really think so when it comes down to that. I think that it is people trying to assert themselves because they don't know who they are. So therefore, that's out of order. Like I said very, very early in this live, like, no leader has the capacity to do everything. None. Contrary to popular belief, they can't do everything. They have some inefficiencies. So therefore, it takes people being connected to them to help them do what they do well. But I think that it is important for any leader to relinquish power and empower people to be who they are so that they can be effective. I think when it's out of order is when you undermine the person that's in the position that's when it becomes out of order. You may not agree, but it is important for you to be an asset to a situation and not a deterrent for a situation. So how does that look? Because you want something practical. What it looks like is you in the middle of a conversation. There's something that I learned from my mom that has stuck with me most of my life. When my mom would ask me to do something or talk to me about something or engage with me about a particular subject, and my dad was involved, and we were talking about a particular issue, and my dad is telling me to do something, my mom would never, I never in my life saw her undermine my dad. At least in front of me. She never. Even if she did not agree, she did not undermine him in front of us. What she did was, in that situation when stuff was happening, she would let him say what he had to say. And then after that conversation, they'll go in the other room, and she would tell him how she felt about it. She would tell him how she felt or what she was thinking about that particular issue. And one of the problems that sometimes people who are in leadership make is very dangerous to cause division in conversations. When you're not leading, it's not your place or your time to try to prove that this person don't know what they're talking about. It's not time for that. It really isn't. The best way to do it, and I saw my mom do this, the best way you can do it is after that conversation, go to them privately and say, hey, I'm not trying to undermine what you're saying, but let's look at this a different way. Don't go to them and say they're wrong, because automatically they're going to get defensive. I mean, I would get defensive if you told me that I didn't know what I was talking about. Who wouldn't get defensive? All of us would. So, how you address this issue of leadership that's quote unquote out of order, like how you be effective when it comes down to that, is learning to say things in a respectful way, but it also is firm, but does not undermine the person that's in leadership. Now, I understand they can be flat foot wrong. They can be completely wrong. There have been times where I've been dealing with somebody and they were completely wrong about something. But it did not mean that I took the time to try to make them look bad. That's not my job. That's not my job. That's not my job. It's not my job to try to make you look bad. I don't help my cause when I try to make you look bad as a leader. I don't. Because who wants to listen to somebody that has already made them look bad? Nobody does. None of us do. So it's important for me to understand, as it relates to this subject, that the way I benefit you is waiting and then talking to you privately. And when I talk to you privately, it's not for me to come to correct you. It's to have a conversation with you and say, hey, this is what you said and this is what's happening. So I'm asking for understanding. I'm asking for interpretation. I'm trying to understand what's your perspective. Because the best thing you can do in your own personal leadership is get out of your own shoes. Leadership is about service. I heard my pastor say this the other day, but it is. Leadership is about service. It is not about you gaining anything from what you're doing. It really isn't. Has nothing to do with you gaining anything. The greatest leaders are the best servers. The greatest ones. We see that in our culture today. One of the biggest problems is you got people who get positions who don't understand the responsibility of their position is to not get things from people. It's for you to serve a cause. Your job, anybody that's been elected to office, your job is to serve. You are not there to get what you want to get and do what you want to do. That's not your job. That's not why people elected you to office. I ain't trying to be political. But my point is, this is what it's going to take to be effective as it relates to this subject of leadership. You and I have to be willing to do things that is uncomfortable for us, but are beneficial for us. That's how you better yourself. That's how you help your cause. You got to do right by people, man. It's not about us trying to be bombastic and the biggest and make the most noise. Nobody cares about you making the most noise. You can be saying the right thing in the wrong situation and it actually be the worst thing. You literally could. You could literally be saying the right thing in the wrong situation and hurting people because you weren't willing to take some time. Now, I'm going to get off of here. If you have any other questions for me, I want you to save them to next time. Because I'm going to be back on here probably in a few weeks. I don't know for sure. But, let me know. Like, everybody comment, share. If you want me to do another Leader Tips Live very soon, I will be glad to do it. Definitely come with your questions. Come with things that you want to know, particularly about leadership. I think it's so important that all of us learn some stuff and grow in some ways that can actually benefit us and help us in our own personal lives. Like I said, if you have not done it, go subscribe to Leading with Lee on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts. If you have not done it, go and do it. Other thing, there is a challenge that's coming up with myself, Ramon Walker, and Megan Pinkton. We are doing this thing called the Align Summit, which is going to be from May 7th through 9th. You have to register and be a part of that. And so if you want to get involved, definitely look into that. But right now, you can go on there and register for the Live with Intention Challenge. It's going to be April 19th through the 6th. So I love you guys. I hope that you have a phenomenal day. And I hope that you have learned something and will invest in yourself. I'll see y'all later because we're going to do this again, okay? Like I said, I'm talking about League with Crisis on the next episode of League with Lee. It's gonna drop tomorrow. That new episode is going to drop tomorrow. Okay? So, get on there. Love you. I'm out. I'll see y'all later. Much love, guys. I seem like an old person doing that right now. Bye, y'all.